Hello everyone, and thanks for watching this video. Welcome to this channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to add Firebase Authentication using username and password into your application. This video has two parts. One is theoretical and one is practical. In the first part I'm going to talk about the theoretical part of Firebase and authentication using username and password. In this video we are exploring the registration part, which means user comes to your app and registers using username and password. Firebase authentication can be two types. One using username and password, and the other type using social media login. For example, using Google account or Facebook account, the user can log into your application. In this video we are talking about username and password, and in later videos I'm going to talk about the social media login. So for the user and password registration, we have a couple of steps. One is to create your project, create Firebase and Flutter project. The second step is to add the packages for the authentication into your Flutter app. In the first step, when you create, you also do some settings in the project. I will show you all the details. The third step, we are going to have some user interface. This is going to be a very simple user interface. We are not focusing on the design. And the fourth is to write the code that sends username and password to Firebase, which then registers the user. These are going to be the steps that we are going to take in this video. So let's get to the second part, which is the practical part. Okay, now let's go to the implementation part after we have gone through the theoretical part. In this part, I'm going to divide the coding into step-by-step instructions so you can follow and create your projects and implement the authentication. It is much easier for you to have step-by-step instructions. First, you need to create a project in your Firebase. I just named this example 1, and then we continue, and then we accept, and then we create the project. Now we go to this gear icon, and then we go to project setting. Here at the end we need to add our application. Now in the Android application we need the package name. In the package name you have to enter your package name of your project. Inside your Android Studio you go to Android and then app and then source and then main. Here you have the file Android manifest.xml. Here the package name is at the top. Here I copy this package name and paste it here. and then we register the app. Now we download the JSON file, we save it in downloads, for example, and then we say next. And then here, based on the instructions, we need to add a couple of lines in the Android section of your Flutter app. The instructions are really easy to follow, so I'm going to add them. First, we need to go to project level Gradle file. In your Android Studio, as you expand the project in the Android section, you have build.gradle, and then you have another build.gradle. At the bottom, this one is the project-based Gradle, and the one inside your app source is the app-based Gradle. Even if you don't know which one is which, you can just open this up. I just open this one. Based on Google instructions, I should have repositories, dependencies, and all projects. So here I check. I don't have those sections, so I open the other Gradle file. Here I have repositories, I have dependencies. So this is the one that I need to change. We need to add this line under dependencies. So under dependencies, we add this line, and then inside the other Gradle file, we need to add this line, and inside the dependencies we need to add this line. So I copy this one inside dependencies. Here at the end you see dependencies, so here I add the line. Also we need to add this line, apply plugin. So I copy this one. I can actually add it at the end of the file. We click next, and we can skip this step. Now we set up our project and our application. Now in order to use the authentication, we need to go to this section, develop authentication databases. All this subsection will open up, and then you go to authentication, and then you go to sign in method. Here you select email and password, and you enable this one, and you click save. Another thing to do is to add the JSON file that we downloaded to our project. We just go to the and we paste it inside the Android, inside app. You right click on the app folder and you say paste. You say OK, and now the JSON file is added to your project. This was the first step. Now let's go to the second step. Okay, in the second step, you need to add packages to your pub/spec.yaml. So I open up this file, and then inside the dependencies, under this Cupertino icons, I need to add the packages that are related to the Firebase. How do I know which packages to add? In this section, we just go to the browser and search for Flutter Authentication Firestore. And then in pub.dev, we have this package, and we go to installing, and we have to add this dependency inside our file. So I copy this one and I paste inside the YAML file. And also the Firebase needs the core dependency to work with all the services that the Firebase is offering. we click on packages, Git. Okay, this process finished. Now we are ready to implement this into our application. So this was the second step. Now let's go to the third step. If I run this default Flutter app, I have this application. So for this application that we are developing, I'm just going to add 2 text boxes, 1 username, 1 password, and 1 button to register. So here I go to build widget. Inside the build widget, we have this column. Inside the column, we have this text, which is this one. And then we have this text, which is the counter. So instead of these two, I'm going to replace these with 2 text boxes and 1 button. Here I say text field, and then inside the text field, I'm going to say that this one should be the email address. The keyboard type is going to be text input type dot email address, and then I'm going to align the text to center. Now we need to capture the value of this text box. So when the user enters the email address, we need to capture this value. I'm going to add unchanged value. What changes? The value will change. So I will add the brackets, and inside this I'm going to have email equals to value. The second one, we're going to replace the counter in the default app with our password. So here we say text field, and then inside this one I'm going to say first, this is a password text field, so the text that user enters should not be visible. For that, we say obscure text equals to true. So the user enters the password, but it is not visible. So the text should be aligned to center. And then the same thing with the email. We need to capture the value of the text field. So I say unchanged value bracket, and here we say password equals to value. Okay, now we have the red line under email and password because we haven't defined these 2 variables. So I go up here inside the build and I define email and I define password. So here email and password now don't have the underline error. After this text fields, we need to add a button so the user can click on the button and register. Under this text field, I say raised button with icon. I'm going to use this one, which is a very simple way to create a button that has an icon. I have created a video about this button. I link it in the description. You can watch the video for more detailed description for now, but it is easy to read and follow. We have in the button, we have the unpressed. What happens when user clicks on the button, icon and label. The label will be register. The icon will be icons dot add, for example. Here for the label we need to add text widget. Okay, for unpressed we fill this part in the next step. For now I'm going to save this, and you can see I have the first text field and the second text field, and the register button that has an icon. Of course, this is very simple way to write the text field and button user interface, but I'm not focusing on the design, so I leave it like this. But notice that the first text field, we said that this keyboard type should be email address. So the text field, when the user clicks on it, we have the keyboard of email style that has %, for the email address. For the second one, see the keyboard when I click on the second text field, it changes to the normal keyboard. So this is a useful feature that you can use. This was the third step to prepare the user interface. Now let's go to the fourth step. In the fourth step, we are going to import the package that we added to the pubspec.yaml file, which is the Firebase Authentication, Firebase Auth, and then we are going to create a variable for our Firebase Authentication, Firebase Auth.instance. Now we can use the auth variable in our code. Inside the button, we left unpressed as it is in the last step. So now we are going to complete this unpressed. We will have the brackets. Inside the bracket, we say auth, the variable that we created, dot create user with email and password. Here we need to say email. What is the variable for email? Is the email. What is the variable for password? Is the password. We have saved both of these in our text field here, email and password. So we pass these two variables to this function and then we save. Now I enter the email and password and I hit register. Here I am going through all the errors that I get. So if you face them, you know how to troubleshoot. This one says the given password is invalid. Password should be at least 6 characters. So here I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's try. Let's go back to our Firebase. And now we have our user registered. Let's try one more time. We go back, we refresh, and we have the second user. So this was all the steps, actually 4 steps to add registration using email and password of Firebase to your application. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to make more videos on Firebase on different sections and functionalities of Firebase. Please subscribe to be notified about the future videos. Thank you for watching. I see you in the next video.